All right, it's 5:52. I'm going to bring to order the International Falls Economic Development Authority. First item on the agenda is, the second item on the agenda is roll call. We do have Commissioner Pearson and Commissioner Jacksaw absent. Next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes.
President?
Yes.
I would point out that we have one typographical error in the second sentence. It says Tuesday, January 16th, Monday, April 16th, 20.
All right.
Move on the minutes with the change.
Second. Motion and a second on the minutes with the change of Monday, April 16th being put in as the date. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor state by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Anybody in the audience that would like to bring anything forward to the International Falls Economic Development Authority? Hearing none, we will move on. Item number 5 is accounts payable. You have the financial reports in front of you. Chair would entertain a motion to accept the financial reports. Second. We have a motion and a second to accept the financial reports. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next we have under reports, we have an update on the Coochin County housing study being pursued by the Housing Collaborative and KEDA.
President, just for as you know, that KEDA had awarded a contract to community partners out of Faribault, Minnesota, and they've initiated their work trying to survey stakeholders that have an interest in housing throughout Coochin County, and the awarded funds up to $6,000. Our actual cash outlay, based on the amount of donations that were provided from other agencies, was reduced to $4,000 for the city of International Falls and $4,000 for Coochin County, so that was good news. But they're moving forward. So Steve Research had met with a number of people starting after the 4th of July, so he met with people on Thursday and Friday last week, and work is proceeding fairly well on trying to get more information and get that report done. It's anticipated that a draft will be ready within 120 days, 90 to 120 days, I believe, for the draft.
I'm fairly certain we'll have another update on the Housing Collaborative at the KEDA meeting on Wednesday. Director's report. Ken, do you want to just give a rundown of the projects that are outlined?
Well, Mr. President, really most of this information is just information items that have come across my desk over the last 3 months, actually, because we're going to quarterly meetings now, and I try to focus on a number of different things that seem to be timely in the economic development world. And you can just, I did provide notice or press release rather that was received from the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, and it talked about projects that were funded with job creation grant monies. And I just would draw your attention to the Cantilever Bridge Distillery project in Rainier received $175,000 to assist that project, so I wanted to bring that to your attention. Again, a lot of it talks about workforce issues, the changing demographics, and how communities are struggling to fill jobs. So I just provide that for general background information for all of you, because 2 of you in your capacity in serving on KEDA, it's a very in local government as well as in the private sector is how to find skilled labor force And with the aging workforce and baby boomers retiring, it's going to get to be a bigger issue. I'm just bringing that for general background information. There's nothing specific to any project that's underway. The final two additional pieces of information, there's something from Minnesota Power and related to the Great Northern Transmission Line, and you can see that they're continuing with the tree clearing process, and so that was addressed to the EDA, so I provide that by way of correspondence to you. And also doing some vegetation or planting herbicides for vegetation maintenance within the utility rights-of-way, and Dakota Power Cooperative has been contracted, Asplund tree experts have been contracted on behalf of Dakota Power Cooperative to do some of that work. So again, that's for board information. Final item I just had, or I wanted to bring to the board's attention because we only quarterly, is I've had 3 canceled meetings with the Public Works Director to just look and see where forecasting expenditures out of the Public Works project, or out of Public Works funds in both the permanent improvement funds and the capital outlay funds to do projects, just to determine if we can do an inter-fund transfer of monies from one of the Public Works accounts to fund the acquisition of that used fire department ladder truck. The Budget and Finance Committee, or the City Council, directed that we explore that. We've canceled 3 meetings, and looking at the financials, I see that the EDA has some monies held in reserve, and I'm just wondering if the Economic Development Authority would be open to allowing a perhaps a 3 or 4 or 5 year inter-fund transfer of those monies to pay to the fire department to pay for that fire truck, and then on an annual basis we would pay the EDA back over the course of 3, 4, or 5 years, whatever we agree on. So I just kind of wanted to plant that seed with you. We don't necessarily have to make a decision yet, but there's there's monies held in reserve that the EDA has with nothing projected for actual expenditures, but I know that the City Council's priority is to really fund infrastructure projects, so I think money from the Public Works funds is going to take money away from doing Public Works projects. So I'm looking at this as an alternative. We haven't made any decisions, and I'm not through analyzing it or visiting with staff about it, but I just wanted to present this as a potential option. I'd be open to your suggestions or comments about whether you're open to that or not.
We have enough funds in the EDA to pay for the fire truck in its entirety?
Well, we've already contributed,
Right.
I believe the number was $200,000 as a down payment. The total cost was $445,000, so that would leave about $245,000 that we would need to do an inter-fund transfer to pay for the rest.
And have enough, that amount in the...
Yeah, that looked like the funds on the financials, and I've already a little bit over. We've got about the total fund equity in the EDA fund is $284,000. It's split between 2 funds. We have cash in the bank and then a Bremer cash in bank of $47,000 and then $236,000. So with those combined accounts, we can take money from both of them and probably fund the $245,000. And then just budget over a period of a few years back out of the fire department budgets in future years.
From the capital outlay?
Yes. Well, we would have to, it would be a budgeted expenditure that would fall under the fire department budget to pay back the EDA.
And that would be something that would be acceptable for us to do? I mean, EDA funds, in my opinion, would kind of be pretty specific. I mean, these are reserve funds, but...
No, we're just loaning them.
The EDA would have to approve the transfer of funds to the City Council to spend that money that way, but I think it would be a transfer and it would be paid back. It's legitimate. We've done other inter-fund transfers between the ambulance and the fire department in the past, And we've also done a transfer out of the Keenan Road Fund to pay for the shade tree department. So we looked at where we have assets and we're not projecting expenses in the immediate future, and we transfer them to other funds to meet an immediate need in the way of a capital expenditure or project fund, and then we pay them back.
And ultimately, we would still, the city would still be saving money in the long run because we wouldn't be borrowing or leasing out that money. Correct.
And paying higher interest rates for it. We could pay the EDA fund back with interest at a kind of a market rate kind of a thing, and it would be less than what we'd probably have to pay on the open market with a lease revenue debt, or it's not debt, but it's subject to the annual appropriation. So, but I think we can do it without an interest component as well.
Mr. Chair, President of the International Falls EDA, I would move that the Falls Economic Development Authority would loan necessary dollars to pay for the remainder of the fire truck from the loan the necessary dollars to the fire department's capital improvement or capital outlay with up to a 5-year repayment plan.
We have a motion on the floor. The chair would accept the motion. We have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Discussion? I just have one question. So if we do this, I mean, that's going to be $200 and some thousand. What was the initial purpose for the money set aside from the EDA funds for $280,000, or is this money that's been set aside over the course of time from the Voyager National Park?
No, those funds would be put in the, I think it's the 404 fund. Those monies, the Voyager National Park has prescribed operating reserve, a capital reserve, and then there's separate monies that are paid to the city which escalate on a cost of living basis that are given to the city to maintain the site and the grounds. And so we have been expending all those funds on an annual basis, and we're on reserve. At some point we're going to have to replace roofing, siding, doors, windows, other equipment, HVAC, and those types of things in that building. And so that's what those the lease minimum amounts that are saved for that, and funds are healthy for that right now because we've been expended the full annual amount coming in. It doesn't go into the EDA fund.
So if this passes and it goes to the council level, we still have to accept that to make the transfer anyways, correct?
Absolutely, the city council would have the transfer, and again, I would have liked to have had a little bit more background information, but because of the fact that we haven't exhausted our review of other options, I was just posing the idea and planting the seed with the EDA commissioners. With this, I'll just verify the reality of it and more specific information before it's council, probably as early as August 6th. Or as part of the Budget and Finance Committee analysis of the 2019 budget, we can review it there too.
Any other discussion? Well, I'll vote for this, but I really want to see what other options we have to pay for it on the city council side. But as for the EDA, I'll vote for it this evening. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Any other business to come before the International Falls Economic Development Authority?
Just 30 seconds, Mr. Chairman, and that's to echo what the city administrator has pointed out in some of the information provided. I've had 5 businesses from the International Falls area that have concerns about the ability to have people to work, that there's a shortage. They just cannot find employees. And I had the opportunity to travel to Hutchinson, Minnesota for a Ducks Unlimited dedication for the Lessard Sam's Council this past weekend, and I can tell you that the signs are endless from International Falls to Hutchinson, people hiring, both full-time and part-time positions. And many of them starting $11, $12 an hour, but they can't find people.
We are in an interesting area right now. I mean, some people are saying that there's no jobs out there, and the business owners are saying that there's no workers out there. Somehow we have to come to a middle ground. This is my experience. I don't speak for any specific business or employees, but it seems to me that everybody wants to start at middle or the high end of wages. Nobody wants to start and work their way up like even when I was younger. That's not that long ago, you know. You start off at a minimum wage job and you work your way up and you prove that you have skills and you move forward or you move up in the company. And it just seems now everybody wants to start out at $15, $20 an hour and wants to be the team chief or whatever. I think we have a disconnect of people wanting to earn their keep and move up in the companies. And that's just my opinion. I don't speak from, for any specific business, but I definitely see that as well. Yeah, we have the chamber president here. Do you have anything to add to that specific topic or conversation?
I would agree with whether or not the jobs are aligning with the workforce, or right, where are we missing? Is it in skill set? Is it in salary and wage? Is it in benefit? Is it what is not connecting the people looking for?
Any other business to come before the EDA? Hearing none, we will adjourn this meeting and we will have our next meeting in the future.